There is a possibility that Cesare Massaro from Mafia The Old Country is the old Sicilian man that helps Vito Scaletta locate Mussolini's soldiers in Mafia II Chapter 1 The Old Country. Now before you call this theory stupid, hear me out. Clothing connection. The old man in Mafia II Chapter 1 wears a long sleeve shirt with the first two buttons unbuttoned along with an unbuttoned vest. Coincidentally, in Mafia The Old Country, Cesare Massaro also wears an unbuttoned long sleeve shirt with an open vest. The main difference here is that Cesare rolls up his sleeves in Mafia TOC, while in Mafia 2, they're not rolled up. It's possible the developers of Mafia The Old Country planned this ahead of time when designing Cesare's character model, and that's why his default outfit consists of an unbuttoned shirt and open vest. If Cesare was approximately 22 years old in 1907, then in 1943, 38 years later, he would be around 60 years old. If they do in fact remake Mafia 2 on Unreal Engine, they will recreate all character models from scratch anyways. The developers can make this man resemble Cesare Massaro at age 60 with his Mafia The Old Country face. San Celeste connection. Mafia 2 Chapter 1 The Old Country takes place in San Celeste, Sicily, the same fictional town in Mafia The Old Country. Here's a direct comparison of both games. The Don who controlled San Celeste was Don Torrisi. However, after the events of Mafia The Old Country, it is heavily implied that Cesare creates his own family, the Massaro crime family. He takes over everything that was previously controlled by his uncle. All of the businesses and rackets belonging to Don Torrisi in the Valle d'Arata ultimately get transferred to Cesare. This would make Cesare Don of San Celeste and the Valle d'Arata. World War II connection. In Mafia The Old Country Dev Diary No. 5, The Sounds of Sicily, the M1 Garand semi-automatic rifle is seen being shot with a microphone attached to it. Hangar 13 developers are recording audio for the M1 Garand rifle to be used for a future Mafia game. The M1 Garand was produced from 1934 to 1957. It was the standard service rifle of the US military during World War II. Mafia 2 players will recognize this as the first weapon they used in the game via Chapter 1. In Mafia The Old Country Dev Diary No. 5, The Sounds of Sicily, we can also see the M1 carbine semi-automatic rifle with a microphone attached to it. Hangar 13 developers are recording audio for the M1 carbine rifle to be used for a future Mafia game. The M1 carbine was produced from 1942 to 1945. This gun is also known for being used in World War II. Given that Mafia The Old Country is set in 1900 Sicily, it is very odd that the developers were recording audio for guns used 30 to 40 years later in World War II, unless this is for a Mafia 2 remake or a Mafia 2 prequel, a direct sequel to Mafia The Old Country. Benito Mussolini was the Prime Minister of Italy from 1922 to 1943, and one of his goals was to eradicate the Sicilian Mafia. Therefore, Cesare, Don of the Massaro crime family, would be incentivized to help the Allies in their efforts, since the Cosa Nostra was losing money daily to Mussolini's crackdown on their illegal activities. Mafia games are known for having connections to previous games, so Cesare appearing here, helping Vito, wouldn't be outside the realm of possibilities.
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god!
Another Don that would be incentivized to help the Allies in their efforts is Don Callo. Calogero Vizzini, aka Don Callo, is the only visible character in the Mafia game series directly inspired by a real historical figure. In real life, Don Callo was a Sicilian Mafia boss of Villalba who led the Vizzini crime family. To sum it up, Cesare Massaro may be the old man who helps Vito Scaletta locate Mussolini's soldiers in the beginning of Mafia 2 because, number 1, clothing connection. Cesare wears an unbuttoned long-sleeve shirt with an open vest, same as the old Sicilian man that helps Vito. Number 2, San Celeste connection. San Celeste, the fictional town, appears in both Mafia The Old Country and Mafia 2. Number 3, World War II connection. The M1 Garand and M1 Carbine have been spotted in Mafia The Old Country's Dev Diary No. 5. Both weapons are known for being used in World War II. At the Featured Games Show Summer Showcase, Nick Baines, president of Hangar 13 Games, said, "Mafia The Old Country is both the prequel to the original Mafia trilogy, and it also sets things up for what might be to come in the future."
Mafia The Old Country is both a prequel to the original Mafia trilogy, and it also sets things up for what might be to come in the future. And it also sets things up for what might be to come in the future. And it also sets things up for what might be to come in the future.
This means the next Mafia game may be a Mafia II remake or a Mafia II prequel, a direct sequel to Mafia The Old Country. It's possible the next Mafia game could be a prequel in Empire Bay surrounding the Vinci Moretti War. We might play as a young Leo Galante, Frank Vinci, Carlo Falcone, or a brand new character. Either way, it's heavily implied that the next Mafia game will be related to Mafia 2 in some way. I guess we'll find out in a few years if Hangar 13 is currently working on a Mafia 2 remake or Mafia The New Country, a direct sequel to Mafia The Old Country set in Empire Bay. Let me know what you think about this theory in the comments below. Do you think the old Sicilian man that helps Vito Scaletta locate Mussolini's soldiers in Mafia 2 Chapter 1 is Cesare Massaro? Do you think the next Mafia game will be a Mafia 2 remake, or do you think it'll be a Mafia 2 prequel, a direct sequel to Mafia The Old Country? Let me know what you think in the comments below. For the latest Mafia game news, updates, and content, subscribe to Mafia Game Videos.